Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to discuss a challenge that many of us face yet often avoid addressing: the art of being happy alone. We live in a world that emphasizes social connection and relationships, which are undoubtedly important, but there is profound value in learning to stand confidently in solitude. To begin, solitude is not a curse, it's an opportunity. When you're alone, you're gifted with the time and space to understand who you are without the noise of others' expectations. Use this time to clarify your values, your goals, and the person you aspire to be. Remember, you cannot build meaningful relationships with others if you haven't first built a solid relationship with yourself. Solitude is often misunderstood in our fast-paced, interconnected world. Many perceive being alone as a sign of inadequacy or isolation, but in truth, it offers a unique and invaluable opportunity for growth and self-discovery. To be happy alone, one must first acknowledge the intrinsic value of solitude and learn to embrace it, not as a punishment, but as a gift. When you are alone, you're presented with a rare chance to remove external distractions and delve deeply into your thoughts, values, and aspirations. Relationships and social interactions, while essential, often come with expectations, compromises, and the noise of differing opinions. Solitude allows you to step away from these influences and truly ask yourself, what do I want? What do I believe? Who do I want to become? These questions form the foundation of self-awareness, and self-awareness is a cornerstone of personal happiness. Being alone also helps you confront aspects of yourself that you might otherwise avoid. When surrounded by others, it's easy to distract yourself from uncomfortable emotions, unresolved conflicts, or unexamined beliefs. Solitude forces you to sit with these elements of your psyche, and while that can be challenging, it is also profoundly liberating. By facing your inner struggles head-on, you gain clarity, emotional resilience, and the ability to move forward with greater confidence. Solitude is a fertile ground for creativity and innovation. Many of history's greatest thinkers, artists, and leaders have credited periods of solitude as the source of their most profound ideas. When you allow your mind to wander without interruption, you give yourself the space to explore new perspectives, connect seemingly unrelated concepts, and develop original solutions to problems. The ability to think deeply and creatively is not just a skill, it's a pathway to personal fulfillment. Another aspect of solitude's value is the opportunity to strengthen your sense of independence. When you're comfortable being alone, you realize that your happiness does not depend on others. This doesn't mean you reject relationships or social connections, but rather that you approach them from a place of strength and autonomy. You are no longer seeking validation or support to fill a void. Instead, you are choosing to connect with others because you genuinely value their presence. To fully embrace the value of solitude, it's important to shift your mindset. Instead of viewing time alone as empty or unproductive, see it as a chance to invest in yourself. Whether you use this time to read, reflect, create, or simply rest, you're engaging in activities that enrich your inner world. Over time, these practices build a sense of self-worth that no external factor can shake. Solitude is a mirror that reflects your true self. By learning to value and utilize this time, you develop a deeper understanding of who you are, what you need, and how you can contribute to the world. Far from being a void, solitude is a space where happiness can flourish, not despite the absence of others, but because of the presence of yourself. A sense of purpose and structure is fundamental to finding happiness, especially when you are alone. When life lacks direction or routine, it becomes easy to feel adrift, unmotivated, or overwhelmed by the weight of aimlessness. Creating structure in your life is not about imposing rigid rules or restricting spontaneity. Rather, it is about providing yourself with a framework that supports your well-being and growth. Responsibility, even in small doses, is what gives life a sense of meaning and fulfillment. When you wake up each day with no clear plan or objective, it is easy for the hours to slip away in distractions or idleness. This can lead to feelings of dissatisfaction and even a sense of guilt for wasting your time. By contrast, when you approach your day with a sense of purpose, whether it's completing a task, working on a skill, or simply caring for yourself, you create a foundation for achievement and satisfaction. The structure itself becomes a source of stability, helping you navigate your solitude with confidence and clarity. The beauty of structure is that it doesn't need to be complex. Start small by organizing your day around achievable goals. For example, you might decide to dedicate specific times for exercise, learning, relaxation, or social interaction. Even simple tasks like making your bed, preparing a meal, or going for a walk can provide a sense of accomplishment. These moments of responsibility, though seemingly mundane, build a habit of discipline and self-care. Over time, they accumulate into a life that feels purposeful and rewarding. Responsibility is often misunderstood as a burden, but in reality, it is deeply tied to happiness. When you take responsibility for your life, you acknowledge your role in shaping your future. This is empowering, especially when you are alone, because it means you are not waiting for someone else to rescue you or make you happy. Instead, you are actively participating in your own growth and well-being. You might start with small responsibilities, like sticking to a morning routine, and gradually take on larger challenges, such as pursuing a career goal or developing a new skill. With each step, you build confidence in your ability to manage your life independently. It's also important to recognize that structure and responsibility do not mean perfection or relentless productivity. Life is inherently unpredictable, and there will be days when your plans don't unfold as expected. The goal is not to create a rigid schedule that stifles flexibility, but to establish a foundation that gives your life direction and momentum. A sense of structure allows you to adapt more easily to challenges because it provides you with a stable framework to fall back on. Creating structure and taking responsibility are acts of self-respect. They demonstrate to yourself that your time and efforts matter, even when no one else is watching. When you commit to organizing your life and fulfilling your responsibilities, you begin to build a life that feels meaningful, intentional, and satisfying. In this process, you'll find that solitude, far from being a state of emptiness, becomes an opportunity for purposeful and fulfilling living. One of the most profound skills you can develop, especially when alone, is the ability to engage in meaningful inner dialogue. The way you communicate with yourself shapes your perception of reality, your emotional state, and ultimately your happiness. Many people underestimate the importance of self-talk, but it is a constant presence in your life, a companion in every moment of solitude. If cultivated intentionally, this inner dialogue can become a source of insight, guidance, and peace. When you are alone, your mind tends to fill the silence with thoughts. These thoughts can either lift you up or weigh you down, depending on how you approach them. Negative self-talk, fueled by self-criticism or doubt, often emerges when you lack awareness of your inner dialogue. It's easy to spiral into feelings of inadequacy or hopelessness if you allow these negative patterns to dominate. However, by practicing mindfulness and self-reflection, you can begin to recognize these patterns and replace them with more constructive and compassionate thoughts. Engaging in meaningful inner dialogue starts with listening. Pay attention to your thoughts without judgment, as though you're observing a conversation. Notice what you tend to say to yourself. Are your thoughts supportive or critical? Are they focused on solutions or problems? This simple act of awareness creates a space where you can begin to change the narrative. Instead of berating yourself for a mistake, for instance, you might say, "What can I learn from this?" Or "How can I approach this differently next time?" These shifts in perspective foster resilience and personal growth. Journaling is an excellent tool for developing meaningful inner dialogue. Writing down your thoughts helps you clarify and organize them, turning vague anxieties into specific issues you can address. It also allows you to track your emotional patterns over time, offering valuable insights into what triggers certain feelings and how you respond. By journaling regularly, you create a habit of checking in with yourself, ensuring that your inner dialogue remains intentional and productive. Meditation is another powerful practice for cultivating a healthy relationship with your thoughts. By focusing on your breath or a specific point of attention, you train your mind to observe thoughts without becoming entangled in them. This detachment enables you to recognize that your thoughts are not facts, they are fleeting mental events that you can choose to engage with or let go. Over time, this awareness reduces the intensity of negative thoughts and strengthens your ability to focus on positive or neutral ones. Constructive inner dialogue also requires self-compassion. Treat yourself as you would a close friend who is struggling. Offer encouragement, patience, and understanding even when you fall short of your expectations. This doesn't mean ignoring your flaws or mistakes, but addressing them with kindness and a commitment to improvement. Self-compassion fosters a sense of safety within yourself, making solitude a space for healing and growth rather than self-criticism. Meaningful inner dialogue is about building a relationship with yourself that is honest, supportive, and empowering. When you learn to engage with your thoughts intentionally and compassionately, you transform solitude into an opportunity for self-discovery and emotional strength. In this way, being alone becomes not a state to endure, but a space to thrive. One of the most fulfilling ways to find happiness while being alone is to invest your time in developing skills and striving for mastery. When you focus on improving yourself in any meaningful area, you not only fill your time with purpose, but you also create a sense of accomplishment and pride that significantly enhances your overall well-being. Progress, no matter how small, is a natural source of joy because it taps into the human need for growth and self-fulfillment. Skill development has a transformative effect on how you perceive yourself and your abilities. When you dedicate time and effort to improving at something, whether it's learning to cook, playing an instrument, writing, painting, or practicing a sport, you create a tangible sense of achievement. Each step forward, however minor it might seem, reinforces your belief in your capacity to grow and overcome challenges. This belief is empowering, particularly when you are alone, as it strengthens your sense of independence and self-sufficiency. The process of learning and mastery also requires discipline and focus, both of which are crucial for a fulfilling life. Setting aside time to practice and improve a skill forces you to structure your day, providing a sense of routine that is especially important when you're spending time in solitude. This discipline, while initially challenging, becomes a source of pride as you begin to see the results of your hard work. The more you practice, the more you realize that your efforts are directly tied to your progress, reinforcing a growth mindset. Skill development provides a valuable opportunity for immersion and flow. When you are deeply engaged in an activity that challenges you at the right level, demanding effort, but not overwhelming, you enter a state of flow. In this state, time seems to disappear and you become fully absorbed in the task at hand. Flow is one of the most satisfying mental states humans can experience, and it often occurs when you are alone, focusing entirely on your pursuit. This immersive focus not only brings happiness in the moment, but also builds long-term fulfillment as you see your skills improve. Investing in mastery also opens doors to self-expression and creativity. The better you become at a skill, the more freedom you have to explore and innovate within it. For example, once you've learned the basics of playing the guitar, you can begin to write your own music. Similarly, mastering a craft like painting or writing allows you to convey your thoughts and emotions in ways that words alone cannot. This creative expression fosters a deeper connection with yourself and gives your solitary time a profound sense of purpose. Skill development contributes to a broader sense of meaning. When you work toward mastery, you are contributing to your own personal story, a story of effort, growth, and achievement. This narrative strengthens your identity and provides a sense of accomplishment that external circumstances cannot take away. In the process, you learn to appreciate solitude as an opportunity for growth rather than as a void to be filled. Pursuing skills and mastery transforms solitude into a workshop for personal growth. It gives you a focus, a challenge, and a sense of purpose that can make being alone not just tolerable, being alone. By committing to continuous improvement, you build a foundation of confidence and fulfillment that enhances your happiness, both in solitude and beyond. Loneliness is often perceived as a void, an absence of connection that leaves us feeling isolated and adrift. But loneliness, when understood and approached thoughtfully, can be transformed into a deeper connection with oneself. This transformation requires recognizing the roots of loneliness and addressing it not solely by seeking external relationships, but by cultivating a rich and fulfilling relationship with your own inner world. Loneliness arises when a fundamental need for connection goes unmet. Humans are social creatures, and our minds and bodies are wired to seek interaction and belonging. However, this need for connection doesn't only apply to others, it also extends to the relationship you have with yourself. Often feelings of loneliness are intensified because we neglect our inner selves, failing to nurture our own thoughts, emotions, and desires. If you can learn to turn inward with curiosity and compassion, you'll find that much of the emptiness associated with loneliness can be filled. The first step in transforming loneliness is to acknowledge it without judgment. Many people try to avoid or suppress feelings of loneliness, distracting themselves with constant activity or superficial interactions. But ignoring these feelings only deepens the sense of disconnection. Instead, take a moment to sit with your loneliness and ask yourself what it is trying to tell you. Perhaps it's a sign that you're craving meaningful connection, not necessarily with others, but with your own values, creativity, or aspirations. By listening to these signals, you begin to understand loneliness not as a weakness, but as an invitation for growth. Cultivating a connection with yourself involves intentional practices that encourage self-reflection and self-compassion. Activities like journaling, meditating, or engaging in creative pursuits allow you to explore your inner world and develop a deeper understanding of your thoughts and emotions. For example, journaling can help you identify patterns in your feelings and behaviors, offering clarity and a sense of control. Meditation teaches you to be present with yourself, accepting your thoughts and feelings without judgment. These practices build a sense of intimacy with yourself, which reduces the emotional weight of loneliness. It's important to reframe how you view your own company. Many people feel lonely because they equate solitude with inadequacy, believing they're alone because they lack something that others have. This narrative is damaging and untrue. Instead, view solitude as an opportunity to reconnect with what truly matters to you. Use this time to pursue hobbies, learn new skills, or simply rest and recharge. When you engage in activities that bring you joy or fulfillment, you shift your focus from what's missing to what's present. Self-compassion is also critical in this process. Treat yourself with the kindness and understanding you would offer a close friend. When feelings of loneliness arise, resist the urge to criticize or blame yourself. Instead, remind yourself that loneliness is a universal human experience, one that does not diminish your worth or capabilities. By practicing self-compassion, you create a supportive inner environment where connection and contentment can grow. Transforming loneliness into connection is about shifting your perspective. While relationships with others are valuable and enriching, your relationship with yourself is the foundation upon which all other connections are built. By fostering self-awareness, self-compassion, and a deeper appreciation for your own company, you can transform moments of solitude into opportunities for connection, growth, and fulfillment. In doing so, you'll find that happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but on the quality of the connection you cultivate within. Happiness in solitude does not mean cutting yourself off from the world or rejecting the importance of social connections. Rather, it is about finding a balance between solitude and meaningful engagement with others. Human beings are inherently social creatures, and while solitude offers space for self-reflection and growth, a fulfilling life also requires connection and interaction with the broader community. Balancing these two aspects allows you to cultivate a deeper sense of happiness and well-being. Solitude has its benefits, but it is not meant to be an endless retreat. Too much time alone can lead to isolation, which is distinctly different from purposeful solitude. Isolation can breed feelings of disconnection, loneliness, and stagnation. On the other hand, meaningful social interactions can provide a sense of belonging, emotional support, and perspective. The key is to approach these interactions with intention, engaging with others in a way that adds value to your life rather than merely filling the silence. When you learn to balance solitude with social engagement, you create a dynamic rhythm in your life. Solitude becomes a time for self-care, reflection, and personal growth, while social interactions provide opportunities to share ideas, build relationships, and contribute to something larger than yourself. This balance prevents either extreme over-isolation or constant socialization from dominating your life and detracting from your happiness. One of the ways to achieve this balance is to be intentional about the quality of your social interactions. It's not about how many people you surround yourself with, but about the depth and authenticity of your connections. Choose to spend time with people who uplift you, challenge you in constructive ways, and share your values or interests. These kinds of connections add meaning to your life and make your social experiences truly enriching. Conversely, it's equally important to recognize when certain relationships drain your energy or hinder your growth. Part of balancing solitude and social engagement is learning to set boundaries and prioritize meaningful connections over superficial ones. It's also important to remember that social engagement doesn't have to be constant. Some of the most meaningful interactions occur when they're balanced with periods of solitude. Time spent alone allows you to recharge, reflect on your relationships, and approach your interactions with renewed energy and authenticity. For example, after spending time in solitude pursuing a personal interest or reflecting on a goal, You can bring fresh insights and enthusiasm to your conversations and collaborations with others. Engaging with the community is another valuable way to balance solitude with connection. Volunteering, participating in group activities, or contributing to causes you care about can provide a sense of purpose and belonging. These interactions often extend beyond personal relationships, giving you a sense of connection to a larger network or mission. They remind you that while solitude is a space for self-discovery, your actions and presence also have the power to positively impact others. Finding the right balance between solitude and social engagement is a dynamic and personal process. It requires you to listen to your own needs and adjust as those needs change over time. By embracing solitude as an opportunity for growth and pairing it with intentional, meaningful social interactions, you create a life that is both deeply connected and richly fulfilling. In doing so, you'll discover that happiness is not about choosing between solitude or connection, but about harmonizing the two to support your well-being and purpose. Finding happiness alone is not about rejecting relationships or isolating yourself from the world. It's about cultivating a fulfilling relationship with yourself and embracing the opportunities solitude provides for growth, reflection, and purpose. Solitude allows you to uncover your inner strength, develop a meaningful sense of self, and pursue mastery in areas that enrich your life. It's a space where you can transform loneliness into connection, not by seeking external validation, but by turning inward with compassion, curiosity, and intentionality. By building structure, taking responsibility for your life, and engaging in meaningful inner dialogue, you create a foundation of resilience and self-reliance. Pursuing mastery and dedicating time to your personal growth instills a sense of purpose and fulfillment that is independent of external circumstances. At the same time, balancing your solitude with intentional, meaningful social connections ensures that your life remains vibrant, dynamic, and connected to the world around you. Happiness alone is not a destination, but a process of deliberate practice of self-discovery, self-care, and self-expression. It's the realization that true contentment comes not from avoiding solitude, but from embracing it as an integral part of a balanced, purposeful life. When you learn to thrive in your own company, you create a sense of inner peace and joy that radiates outward, enhancing not only your own life, but also the lives of those you choose to connect with. Solitude, far from being a limitation, becomes a powerful source of strength and fulfillment.